field, inside the clubhouse, and everything in between. This is Brewers Weekly. Here's Dominic Cotroneo.
All right, how much fun was that? A sweep. It's not often you can say you saw something that's never been done in the history of Brewers baseball. And you can say you did if you're at any of the games this week. First time in franchise history, the Brewers sweep the Dodgers here in Milwaukee. Any length series. 3 games, all wins for the Crew. And it was a fun one yesterday. Got a couple highlights to play from that one. Plenty of audio to get through in this one as well, including the news. Trevor McGill is an all-star. We'll hear from Trevor about that. He has been named to the National League All-Star team in place of Freddie Peralta, since Freddie is going to pitch on Sunday and not going to pitch in the All-Star game. Thus, McGill becomes available and able to pitch in the game. And that also means Freddie could pitch again, the following weekend when they resume in Los Angeles. Perhaps they give him a day off. There's speculation. Maybe we'll find out on Sunday. Perhaps the Brewers' plan is to maybe flip Mizorowski and Freddie and have Mizorowski go on Friday coming up after the break, Freddie go on Saturday, and then you can decide who you want on Sunday, perhaps Quintana, and it becomes the same rotation the Brewers had against the Dodgers. We'll also talk a little bit of injury updates. We heard from Rhys Hoskins. We even heard from Blake Perkins. And we got an update on the rehab outing of Nestor Cortez up in Appleton with the Timber Rattlers. We got that final line for you a little bit later on in the program. And we'll also talk little Joey Ortiz, because this week he got, thrown into the news cycle by his manager. It was kind of surprising to all of us in the media of how all of that was handled, but we'll just kind of break down what is at stake here for the Brewers as they take a look around the trade deadline of what they could add to their team. And I'll give you a hint. There are not many shortstops available, if any at all. We'll explain later on in the program. So Joey is somebody the Brewers want to build up and get right heading into the second half of the season. Well, in case you missed it or you live under a rock, the Brewers swept the Dodgers. And yesterday they did so in come-from-behind fashion, scoring in 3 very different ways. First, they were down 1-0 in the 5th inning. Jake Bauers just took matters into his own hands. He drew a walk. He got to second on a balk and said, you know what? I'm going to go for third.
Frelick waits, and the first one from Glasnow. Runner takes off for third. Is swinging a miss. Thrown at third base. It's down the line. Bauers is going to come in and score and tie the game. A balk, a stolen base, and an E2 makes it 1-1.
That's simple. Jeff Levering on the call. And, if you go back and look at the replay of that, Miguel Rojas had both of his knees in front of third base, and that's like blatant obstruction. So I don't know what to believe with the rule anymore, or if anyone's even enforcing it. Anyway, that's something we're going to point out in the playoffs if the Brewers are there. Like, hey, look out for obstruction calls. Later on, though, it's still 1-1. In the 7th, the Brewers dealt with some traffic. In fact, the Brewers allowed a sacrifice fly to Mookie Betts with the bases loaded, but that was it. And more on Mookie and Freddie in just a moment, because Freddie would end the frame by flying out. But the Brewers were trailing 2-1. They couldn't get to Ben Kasparius. They were, procrastinators. And they got to Tanner Scott, the closer in the 9th. A couple of hits from the rookies. And then finally, the new guy coming off the bench has men on first and second with 1 out. Andrew Vaughn, another moment already in Milwaukee.
The pitch. Broken bat flare. It's a base hit into left center. Here comes Collins. The throw goes to second, and we're tied.
In the best part, in the top of the 10th inning, Trevor McGill, little did he know he was about to become an all-star, would strike out the side in extras, not allowing that runner on second base to move at all. So all the Brewers got to do is score a run in the bottom of the 10th, starting the inning with a man on second. Well, what did they start with? William Contreras flies out to right center field. It allows the placed runner, Sal Frelick, to get to third on the tag-up. All that's left to do is get a base hit.
Yates brings home the pitch.
And a ground ball through the left side, into left field for a base hit. Frelick trots home, and Jackson Churio has walked off the Dodgers here this afternoon in Milwaukee. It is brooms for the Brewers as they sweep the Dodgers for the first time ever here in Milwaukee.
Fun day at the ballpark. Brewers win. Let's break down this series a little bit deeper. Why did it happen? Some of the things that maybe flew under the radar because we're all enamored with what Freddie and what Miz did. So let's break all down. Coming up next, right here in your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Amish outdoor furniture with poly and wood available. And that poly is the richest of outdoor furniture. It's just about indestructible and will virtually last forever. At Erickson's, we have poly furniture in abundance, so you're guaranteed to see a great selection. The beauty of it is you can put it outside all year round and not worry about it, because the color runs all the way through, so it doesn't fade, and minor nicks and scratches won't hurt the look. Erickson's Landscape Supply. For an abundant selection of poly and wood Amish outdoor furniture, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better selection of metal yard art than we have here at Erickson's. Anything from natural and painted metal signs to painted roosters from 1 to 6 feet tall. Natural steel flying ducks and cattails. Cute little frogs, geckos, pigs, flamingos, and goats. And palm trees. The list is endless. And that's why you come here. Erickson's Landscape Supply, right on Spring Street in Union Grove, where you'll find a fantastic array of artisanal metal yard art. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Or better yet, drive on over and take a gander at the goods.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
But I'd seen people with the bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit ovationhand.com. ovationhand.com.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome in. I'm Tom Cotroneo. Talking about Brewers sweeping the Dodgers. I think this is another marquee. I mean, that's 3 marquee sweeps, right? The Red Sox that started this hot stretch Memorial Day week. Then follow that up with the Phillies that weekend, in Philly, mind you. And then you get these Dodgers here at home. They're clicking. So don't take your foot off the gas pedal here coming up this week against the Nationals. We'll have a preview on them coming up at the end of the program. A couple of nuggets and notes that I wanted to point out here of why the Brewers won this series. First and foremost, the elephant in the room is the truth. And Pat Murphy talked about this in his post-game presser yesterday. The Dodgers aren't playing like the Dodgers right now. It's the truth. There's no way around it. But at the same time, you got to beat them while they're down. You got to take care of things when you get the opportunity to catch a team when you, quote-unquote, would want to catch them. But overall, no one's ever going to complain about a sweep.
Yeah, I think we're going to keep coming after you. We keep clawing away. It's base hits. Did we have an extra base hit today? No, we didn't. No, there wasn't a single one in the game. Well, that speaks to our pitching staff and Contreras. But, just the way we went about it, like that's it. Churio hadn't had a hit today, and bam. Contreras comes up with a huge at-bat. Churio comes up with a big hit. I don't know. Somebody different, The kid we just got, Vaughn, how about him? Again, been in the cooler in AAA for a while, and now all of a sudden he's giving us good at-bats. Durbin was great today. Good stuff.
The list goes on of all the contributors to the Brewers that they had in this series. But for the Dodgers, their horses, they didn't show up. I know Shohei hit the home run on Tuesday, but combined, 1 through 4, the regular 1 through 4, I should say, just these 4 hitters. Will Smith had the night off on Tuesday, but he's been leading the National League in batting average and in OPS. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani. Those core 4, if you will, for the Dodgers. Those 4 guys combined to go 6 for 40 in this 3-game series. 6 for 40. That's a 150 batting average. And just one extra base hit. That one, Shohei's leadoff home run on Tuesday. So the Brewers, not only did they kick a team while they're down, again, go look at Mookie Betts' slash line. It's not what you think it's going to be. Freddie Freeman is coming off of the worst month of his career in June and is following it up with quite simply a worse month, which is bad news for the Dodgers. And, the Brewers, yes, they probably caught them at a great time. But at the end of the day, you can only play the team that's on the other dugout. The Brewers still only won 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. Does that mean the Rockies are suddenly better than the Dodgers because by transitive property? But you get what I'm saying. The Brewers kept the Dodgers' top 4, the guys that have been struggling, down. That was priority number 1. Priority number 2 was to make things hectic. I was talking to Sal Frelick yesterday after the contest, and the way that they've been winning games in the last month plus, it feels very sustainable. And he pointed out the fact that the Brewers won in 3 different fashions in these 3 games, right? So you jump all over the starting pitcher on Monday in Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You can never expect that, but it was just quality at bats. You get a 3-run bomb from Vaughn. That's always welcome, but they added on, right? Then in game 2, you get a bona fide pitcher's duel where you get punched in the mouth early, but are able to come back, get a couple timely hits, and let the bullpen ride the wave. And then finally, in game 3, a snatch and back. You did not play quality baseball for the majority of that game until the 9th inning, and then get yourself off the deck and win. 3 different ways to win against a very good team. And it's a type of series that Sal said, in a month, you're going to look back on if you're having a rough week, if you're having the Brewers suddenly have like a 4-6 stretch and a 10-game stretch where it didn't feel this hard against the Dodgers. Let's go watch some tape of that game. So that's some of the good news from this, too. And the other thing that Pat Murphy had to say, we've talked about it many times on this program, finding their edge. Last year's team had an edge. It took a while to find this year's version of their edge, but it seems like they found it.
I think that, I don't know since when, but I think maybe the games in Cleveland. I think if you check the kind of way we're playing since then, I think it's pretty good. And it's, again, you got a guy like Yelich who plays the game a certain way. He got 2 hits today. Nobody's going home today saying, "Oh, what did Yelich?" Yelich had a great game today. No punch, putting the ball in play, 2 hits, stolen base. That's how he plays that way. That's how we play. We kind of follow his lead and see the way he's been playing, the way he played last year. Like, this is how we play. We're not just trying to go deep and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how many bases we stole today, but we kept running. We got thrown out and we kept running.
That's this team's recipe for success. And to go back on what Murph was saying, since that Cleveland series, let's just count the finale against the Guardians, which they won that one to avoid the sweep after getting shut out in back-to-back games. Granted, they would be shut out in back-to-back games the next day against the Twins, but they were 21-23 after that win against the Guardians. Well, since then, that puts them at 32-17 since that finale against Cleveland. Best record in the National League. So he's right. They're on to something there. I got 2 more nuggets here of why the Brewers beat the Dodgers this week. The next one, defense. The Brewers did not commit an error this week. The Dodgers committed 3, and 2 of the 3 directly impacted the scoreboard. For the Brewers to win, we've said it over and over until I'm blue in the face. The Brewers win by winning on the margins and being that annoying team that doesn't make mistakes. Another thing that I point out of not making mistake is what Jose Quintana did yesterday with the bases loaded against Shohei Ohtani. Should James Outman have been called out on a check swing? That was as close as it gets. Should he have thrown a better pitch? Absolutely, given James Outman was 0 for 6 against left-handers at that point. But he did not miss in the middle of the zone. That's essentially not a pitcher error, right? Ohtani's the hottest, with men on. He's been a little bit of a different beast, but it feels like when the lights are brightest, Shohei shows up. But the guys behind him, like we just pointed out, Mookie and Freddie are not swinging the bat well. Quintana picked his battle. All right, I can give up a run, bases loaded walk to Shohei Ohtani. I probably deserve it after allowing a 2-out rally for him out of nowhere. but not let anything else there. That was huge. To be able to concede and make small little pivots, or even look at the 6th inning on Tuesday night. Jacob Misiorowski going back out there, getting out of the frame. The great defense made in the 6th inning. Andrew Vaughn's diving stop, Monasterio's throw home. Those are winning baseball plays, and the Brewers tend to make them more often than they don't. So the defense is big. And then one last nugget. William Contreras. I know what you're thinking, Dom. William didn't really do much with the bat. You're right. I'm not talking about his bat. I'm talking about his catcher's gear. He caught all 3 games. I thought he called maybe his best game of the year against the Dodgers on Tuesday. Yeah, I know Miz hung a curveball to Shohei. That was the only mistake of the night. I thought that was a brilliant game calling. And then the bullpen went 9 up, 9 down behind that. That was really good management. Or even yesterday, the blocks that William Contreras made in the 7th inning are going to be seared into my mind. Ashby was struggling. Breaking ball was only going 50 feet. Those are the hardest to block because you're worried about, oh, goodness, is it going to hit the plate? Is it going to bounce? Is it going to skid? He blocked every single one of them, including an impossible one with runners on 2nd and 3rd right after that double steal, right? That's a run. We're not talking about a sweep today if that run gets by. And no one would have blamed William because it was an impossible block. But this is what we're talking about of catching becoming a tertiary position in that it is so demanding behind the plate. Yes, I know he went over when he was in the box, but he saved at least 1 run, maybe 2, yesterday just by blocking, and that is just as valuable as what he can do with the bat. I know I tweeted tongue-in-cheek on Tuesday night after Sal Frelick hit that go-ahead or that insurance run, the home run that he hit on Tuesday, that Sal Frelick now has more home runs than William Contreras at this point in the year. It's a fact. William retweeted it, which made me chuckle, but it's a fact. I don't think it's going to end that way because I believe William's going to have a great second half. I think this break is going to do him wonders. The exit velo is back up. I think we're close. I really do think William continues to deliver behind the plate. Now, he's ready to deliver with an all-star break, with a breather, to get back to himself in the second half. Let's talk a little Trevor McGill. Congratulations to him. You're headed to Atlanta, but he'll explain he never had any other plans. Back with more after this on 620 WTMJ.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Brake issues, electrical issues, four-wheel drive issues, exhaust issues, and even my car just won't start issues.
You name it, we fixed it.
So the next time you're due for service, drive it on into Richlands and let our ASE certified technicians get you fixed up and safely back on the road.
Nothing warms my heart more than seeing our customers drive out of here with big old smiles on their faces. And all the credit goes to our staff, the most friendly, honest, hard-working, knowledgeable people in the business.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved,
and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to provide you with top-notch service.
And after your vehicle's been serviced, drop us a Google review and let us know how we did.
Because a Google review from you goes a long way. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the July Independence Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Yours brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want And in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases. And it's free. Stop in today and save now during the Independence Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We're going to the top of the hour here on WTMJ. Nate Rilling is our producer. Welcome in. Let's talk a little Trevor McGill. Now, before we talk about him getting a nod to the All-Star game, we got to talk about his 10th inning yesterday. Absolutely epic stuff. Back-to-back, he got the save on Tuesday night, let out a primal scream, and let out an even bigger one on Wednesday afternoon after striking out the side in the 10th inning, of course, leaving that placed runner stranded on second base.
Yeah, I mean, that's leverage right there, right? That's what we all, as bullpen arms, strive to come out on top of. So be able to do that this week, it was awesome.
It was really cool. I mean, it was just what you expect to see from a closer. Just dominate it. Don't even leave a doubt. It's not that easy, and he made it look easy. And then he got the great news right after, came into the clubhouse, quick team meeting as Murph called McGill into his office and sat down and closed the door, and there's a moment, and McGill said, "Is this what I think it is?" And Murph just smiled and said, "Yeah, it is. All-star. Congratulations to him." Here's what he had to say about it.
Just happy to be around this clubhouse, and great group of guys to enjoy this with. That's for damn sure.
More fired up as you get the news or the 10th inning reaction?
I mean, sweep the Dodgers at home. That's give the fans what they want, right? That was awesome. So glad to be a part of that, and then also with the news as well. Like that's just some goal that I put out in the off season, and here it is coming true.
Yeah, you know what? He's given to the team. He's if you don't know him, he's a tremendous giver. You know what I mean? He gives a lot of himself, and he's got his ways about him, and it takes a while to get to know him. He's been through a lot in life. He's way more mature than you give a normal kid his age credit, and he really just loves being part of something and being an important piece of something. And now that he's found this home, last year he was a big part of it, but this year a lot, and he's given that responsibility. He loves it. So he's very, very grateful, very, very thankful.
A thing to remember about Trevor McGill's development, and it's also a reminder for everybody who's watching prospects or watching tools or just trying to figure out what works. This is the furthest thing from a linear development into closer of the Milwaukee Brewers. Let me just read you his transaction log here, okay? Back in 2019, he was taken by the Padres in the Rule 5 draft from the Cubs. I should say, sorry, flip that. From the Padres to the Cubs, Rule 5 draft. He gets outrighted. He gets selected in 2021. IL, option, IL, option, option. I mean, he gets all 5 option years used. Then he gets non-tendered by the Minnesota Twins. Claimed off waivers. Agreed to a minor league deal. Comes up from the minors. IL, COVID IL, optioned, DFA'd in 2023 by the Twins. Then the Brewers step in. We want this guy. Taylor Floyd, the player to be named in that deal back in June of 2023. Came up and down a little bit that year, but as he was learning what to get done, he has his daughter in September of 2023 to the McGill family. But then he comes back in spring training of 2024, and the news comes out that Devin Williams is not going to be available. And at the time, the Brewers didn't know who their closer was going to be. Early in the year, it was Abner Uribe. We saw Yoel Payam's going to start or get a save. But part of the reason is because when the Brewers returned home, Trevor McGill suffered a concussion right when they came home, and he had to miss time. Then he also had a comeback or hit him on the elbow. I mean, this has been far from linear, but yet he still saved more than 20 games a season ago in Devin Williams' absence and gave the Brewers the confidence to say, you know what? We think you can do it. You should hang around here and we feel comfortable trading Devin Williams, and we want you to be the closer. So after all of that, 2 teams cutting him, another team leaving him exposed in the Rule 5 draft, and it finally clicks with the Brewers. This is what he had to say about that.
I mean, it's just trust and Hook and Jim and Murphy and, Arnold, everybody involved. They're just very mature organization, and, you put a game plan together with them and they trust you to go out there and execute it. And, they don't get lost too much in the analytics and whatnot. It's just go out there and get the zeros and, just feel the confidence coming from up top, and it just helps me out that way.
The fastball has been phenomenal, obviously triple-digit heat, but the curveball has really taken another step forward with his command. And overall, I mean, you look at the numbers, in now 33 2/3 innings, which is about equal to what he did when he first joined the organization in 2023. The walks are a little higher, sure, but the batting average on balls in play has plummeted, right? He is not allowing quality contact against him. He had given up 2 homers in 2023, 4 homers all year last year. He's given up 2 so far this season. But he has 43 strikeouts. His career high for a season is 52. So he is well on his way to surpassing that. So in case you're wondering, why does he get to be named an All-Star? Well, it's because Freddie Peralta is not going to pitch in the All-Star game. So Major League Baseball likes to appoint other deserving All-Stars to take the place of somebody who doesn't want to pitch in the game for somebody who will pitch in the game. It's not that Freddie doesn't want to. It's that him and the team feel it's best for this team that's in the middle of a race for him to pitch on Sunday and then pitch again coming up out of the All-Star break. Freddie, it's his second career All-Star nod. Congratulations to him. He still gets the honor, but so does Trevor Megill, and now Trevor Megill can probably say he's going to pitch in an All-Star game at Atlanta. And the other final thing here, Trevor Megill always said, it was Atlanta or bust for me. My All-Star break plans were always Atlanta. I was never going to change them until I was told I'm not going to the All-Star game. It was a goal he had all offseason long, and you got to give kudos to a guy that says it, sets to it, and gets the job done. So congratulations to Trevor Megill and family that he is headed to Atlanta to represent the Brewers in the All-Star game. Let's talk about some of the guys that are on the mend, trying to come back to this ball club, right? Got some injury updates for you to get you locked in. Reese Hoskins, Blake Perkins, Nestor Cortez. All that's coming up on the other side of the break here on 620 WTMJ.
You'll find that the licensed and certified electricians from Quality are top-notch. We've been around for over 60 years, so expect nothing but the best. And here's the kicker. With over 60 vehicles out there on the roads, you're not going to have to wait very long at all for the electrical service you need now. This is Anthony Zanevsky. For all your residential electrical needs, call Quality.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Over 60 years in business, with over 60 vehicles out in the field so we can respond ultra quickly to your emergency AC needs. When you call Quality for emergency AC service, you can count on a swift response to get the job done right away. So if the heat's got you to the point where it's just too hot to handle, call Quality and we'll get you the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. When Tri-City National Bank decided to optimize their print output strategy, they needed a resource with the expertise to recommend a solution. CIO Robert Prang.
And James helped us with that analysis of what our print consumption was and what we were doing.
The outcome of the James Imaging Systems Managed Print Services recommendation?
We ended up reducing down to about 97 total printers and copiers from 197.
The impact on your print output?
We eliminated over 500,000 pages a month of output that we figured out we really didn't need.
Month after month, that adds up to savings and value.
Oh, tons of value. Those numbers add up even when it's only a penny or so per page.
Managed Print Services from James Imaging Systems. AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation. To learn more, visit jamesimaging.com.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Nate Rilling helping us out with some Atlanta flavor there with the Get Back music. course, Outcast. See plenty of big boy involved in the festivities. Brewers will send Trevor McGill and Freddie Peralta. Congratulations to them. So, how about the guys that are trying to get back right now? Let's start with the big news that came on Tuesday, or I should say on Monday, is that Rhys Hoskins is going to be on the IL for probably at least 6 weeks. That's what the current timeline looks like for Rhys due to a grade 2 left thumb UCL sprain. Now, of course, a sprain is technically a small tear, but for Rhys, getting him healthy is going to be super important. But also, he understands there's still some season left for him. It's never a good time to get hurt, but this is what he had to say to the media.
I was told about 6 weeks. Some are 8, some are 4. So I think pretty conservative was that 6-week mark. At least that's what I'm going to have in my head of what my goal is to hopefully rejoin this team. But I'll be doing my work in the quiet, helping these guys as much as I can off the field, so that we can continue our push towards the playoff.
He called the play that injured him on Sunday in Miami. It's just a baseball play. It happens, and you do that maybe once every other game, and you don't even think about it. Maybe it doesn't even lead to an awkward jam or anything like that. But Rhys Felton immediately couldn't grip a bat, because think about it, it's his left hand as a right-handed hitter. There's a lot of torque that's going into that bottom hand, and if you can't confidently squeeze with your thumb, that's why we're mammals. We got opposable thumbs just to hit baseballs as far as we can. That's the only reason. But Rhys is down for a while. His replacement already making an immediate impact. Andrew Vaughn, him and Jake Bauers going to be splitting time, both of them obviously involved in Wednesday's game. But to have seen him for as long as he is now, to have him on his side, he thinks this could really be a great fit.
Yeah, it's great, man. I've obviously been across the diamond from him for a couple of years. I remember him as a college player. I knew everybody knows he can hit, but he's just stoked to join this type of energy, especially with how we've been playing. Obviously, we got a great crowd last night, playing a great team. So it was pretty cool to see him soak in that moment and come through for us, right? Like it's an all-star pitcher over there, and really kind of powered that surge for us.
And again, in case you forgot, the Brewers acquired Andrew Vaughn when Aaron Savali requested a trade, and the Brewers obliged less than 24 hours later and sent him to the White Sox in return for Andrew Vaughn. So that worked out great for him. So we will wait for Rhys, hopefully mid to late August. Another update we got, it was good to see Blake Perkins back in the building. We haven't seen Perk since spring training. He's been dealing with a fractured shin, his right shin, and a long progression to get back healthy, a long progression to advance to run. But when we talked to him, he had just come off the field from doing a workout, and he's about to head to Nashville.
It's good to say that my shin that was fractured is good. I felt really good the last couple weeks playing in Arizona and Nashville, and unfortunately had a little bit of a flare-up, I would say, a little groin tightness, and just was cautious with it and figured a couple more days is better than doing this process all over again. So I'm feeling good today. I'm going to do pretty much everything normal, hit, throw, run. I was just out there shagging, felt really good. And I think I'll be going either back to Nashville to play a couple more games before the break or what. I'm not really sure about that, but I'll be here for a few days.
It sounds like he's going to return to Nashville tomorrow and maybe play for the weekend, maybe play through the week. Point is, he gets to restart his rehab assignment, but from the sound of things, the Brewers do not expect him to need all 20 days for him to return, which means he could, in theory, return next weekend against Los Angeles or Seattle, because that's the first road trip coming out of the break. The West Coast trip, the penultimate West Coast trip, the Brewers also have one more singular series against the San Diego Padres in the final week of the regular season. But it's good to have Blake Perkins nearing his return. His center field defense is just a treat to watch. And switch hitter, you can imagine a defense perhaps that this gets a little more complicated, of course, with Isaac Collins might become a fourth outfielder, and given how great he's playing, does he continue to play well when he's not playing every day? Does Yelly start getting a few more days in left field in order to give William a day as a DH, and you feel more confident doing that because Blake Perkins is in center field? All of these things can be connected, so we'll wait and see when Perk does return of what the Brewers are going to do there. And then finally, rehab outing number 2 for Nestor Cortez. He pitched with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers up in Appleton. He went 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. I saw a couple 91s, 92s, no official radar readings other than the score bug down there on MILB.TV. Our thanks to Chris Maring and all the content team there with the Timber Rattlers. But he threw a total of 54 pitches, 36 of them were strikes. And again, in the words of Brendan Woodruff, it is just so hard to get yourself hyped up to pitch in the minor leagues at times, especially when you're somebody as a veteran like Nestor Cortez, who has the ability to pitch deep into games and wants to go longer and is trying to avoid, quick at-bats. But these kids, these 18 and 19-year-olds don't know any better. They're swinging all the time, and you're not able to move up your pitch count. So the whole point is try to get your pitch count up and try to get more ups. The point is, seems like he made it through healthy. We'll get the report tomorrow at the ballpark to see how he's feeling from the second rehab outing. Remember, pitchers get 30 days, and it commenced last week in Nashville. So there's a very good chance he could also be returning right after the All-Star break, which makes things complicated. But we won't cross that bridge until we need to, because the Brewers are obviously dealing with the surplus in their starting rotation as of now. There is this nifty thing called the trade deadline in 3 weeks. That's all on the horizon. Well, a couple of texts that have rolled in here. We'll talk about those next. We'll also talk about Joey Ortiz. It's been a big week for Joey Ortiz in the media. We'll talk about that and why. You're on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or 2. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Hey, Milwaukee, if you missed out on the best summer savings for furniture, appliances, and mattresses, don't worry. Kohlder's is extending their 4th of July weekend sale through this Sunday for 1 more week. Shop Kohlder's unbeatable store-wide discounts on top of their sale and clearance prices. John Mercure here. I just shopped at Kohlder's. It's the best quality. It's the best sales team. It's the most beautiful showrooms. And now, save 60% on furniture and mattresses. Take an additional 10% off. Stack your discounts only during Kohlder's extended 4th of July weekend sale. Save big on sofas, sectionals, dining tables, bedroom sets, and more. Use the code WEEKEND10 at checkout, in-store, or online. And the savings don't stop there. Take an additional 5% off appliances at Kohlder's with the code WEEKEND5. That's on top of prices you won't find anywhere else. Now's the time to upgrade your kitchen or laundry appliances at Kohlder's. Don't miss out on Kohlder's 4th of July weekend sale, now extended through Sunday, July 13th. Shop in-store or online at Kohlder's.com.
Get more for your money, Kohlder's.
Get in on Brewers and Nationals action July 11th through the 13th. Celebrate with the crew at the Negro Leagues tribute game on the 11th and get a 90s throwback jersey on the 12th. Get your seats now at Brewers.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. A few texts that we'll address here. We've got another 10 or so minutes of the program. We'll have one more break to hit as well. Did Contreras catch 4 of the 5 games with The Miz? You are correct. The one with Haas was the game 2 of that doubleheader in New York, in Queens. So they chose Contreras to start game 1. And then have Haas start game 2. Seems to be some comfort there. I mean, it's early. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Haas will catch another one from Miz at some point, but Miz isn't going to pitch again for the rest of the first half before the All-Star break. His next start would be in Los Angeles, most likely, which probably would have William behind the plate, but we'll have to let that play out. Another text here. Is there a team more set up for a big deadline than the Brewers? Could deal from the young big league ready arms like Baltimore and Arizona, ready to reload for next season. Lots of opportunities to make a splash without really mortgaging the future too badly. And aside from shortstop, there are legit fits at DH, first base, and third base. I've said this on a couple shows already, but I'll say it again. The Brewers have the single most valuable currency available in the trade deadline. They have young, controllable pitching. And it's always a risk to deal from a position of depth, especially pitching, because that depth can be gone in the blink of an eye, like we saw in the beginning of the year. But the Brewers are a team that is opportunistic. And there are a lot of these rumors swirling about Jarren Duran. Is he going to be available? What are the Red Sox going to do? Do they even have pieces? Or what are the Diamondbacks going to do, given they've got multiple expiring deals? Like Merrill Kelly, like Zach Gallen, like Eugenio Suarez, like Josh Naylor. Or then you look at the Orioles, Ryan O'Hearn's an all-star. Jeff Passan linked Ryan O'Hearn to the Brewers this week as a trade fit in his eyes. Doesn't mean there's a rumor, but you know what? The way I look at it is if the Brewers are going to get a rental, they don't even need to tap into that gold reserve of young starting pitching. But if they're going to get somebody with multiple years of control, that's when you're talking about making this a sweeter deal with somebody that maybe is a little more big league ready than maybe you would expect. But we'll have a full trade deadline preview show coming up after the All-Star break, and we'll save some of all of our best trade proposals for that episode. This one, Tony from Greenfield. I know we love Joey and want to give him a chance. What are your thoughts on going after Geraldo Perdomo from the Diamondbacks? The Diamondbacks just extended Geraldo Perdomo. He's not going anywhere. They have Jordan Lawler in AAA, but he just got hurt with a hamstring issue. And they seem to believe that Lawler is going to be the third baseman next year. He's one of their top prospects when Gino leaves in free agency. But what do you do with Joey Ortiz and what do you do with short? There's not really a shortstop available at this year's trade deadline. Everyone kind of assumed it was going to be Bo Bichette, but the Blue Jays are maybe the hottest team in the American League, and he's not going anywhere in his walk year with Toronto. So that leads us to the conversation about Joey Ortiz. And in case you missed it earlier, this was from Monday when we were talking to the daily session with manager Pat Murphy. And Joey didn't play the finale on Sunday in Miami, and then he wasn't in the lineup again on Monday against the Dodgers. And I was the one who asked the question of just, hey, is anything going on with Joey Ortiz? And Murph, I was just asking, like, is he hurt? Is he dealing with something? Is he just trying to give him a break? It could be easily said to be, yeah, no, he's just dealing with stuff. Or go the route that Pat Murphy went. I say, and I quote, yeah, the manager's pissed. That's in the words of Murph when asking, is Joey Ortiz dealing with anything? I want him to give me his best approach at the plate, and we've given him a lot. We play him every day, and we need him. He can't just have lapses at the plate like that, meaning the lapses we talked about in the doubleheader with the bases loaded, swinging at a first pitch double play against a sinker baller, and then taking strike three with the bases loaded against the Marlins on Saturday, and swinging at pitches at his eyes, that sort of thing. So those mistakes have added up. But the Brewers have given every length of the leash possible to Joey Ortiz to this point now in July. And again, there's not much coming on the way. The point being, the Brewers are trying something different here, I think, with Joey. Tough love and discipline, in the words of Pat Murphy, the way he does it. Would I have done it differently? Sure, but I'm not a manager. I don't know what conversations have happened behind closed doors already. Maybe this is trying to find a new way to light a fire under his you-know-what. The Brewers are going to need Joey Ortiz. His glove is valuable. I know the DRS is down on him, but the OAA is up on him. And I think that's because of those first 2 months of the season, the DRS really did not like him. I just don't see a massive splash for the Brewers to get a shortstop, which is why they need to rely on Joey Ortiz. Cooper Pratt's not coming up in the big leagues this year, guys. So unless Bryce Terang is suddenly going to be playing short, which I don't think is going to happen either, Joey's your guy. And trying to get his confidence back sooner as opposed to later is going to be key for this team to try to catch those darn pesky Chicago Cubs. But let's talk about the Washington Nationals. Let's wrap up the program with a quick preview and game times and get you ready to have some fun in the final series of the first half on 620 WTMJ.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Accurate Basement Repair and Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission, for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com. Where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Flooring, carpeting, bath, or kitchen remodeling. Adair is the name Milwaukee has trusted for 65 years. This is Rob Adair. Ready to remodel? Give us a call, 761-3660. Get personal care from Adair, South 27th in Franklin.
With all the positive Google reviews continuing to pour in for Richland's Tire and Service Centers, we want you to know we appreciate you.
You were due for service, we delivered, and then you went the extra mile and wrote a few kind words about the service you experienced.
Yeah, thank you so much. Michael, Glenn, Jeff, Lisa, Carol, Jason, John,
Wait,
Michelle,
hang on a second,
Ryan.
Dad. As fun as it may be to name every single person who's ever left us a Google review, there just isn't enough time. We get 60 seconds, and I'd say we've got about 28 left.
Ah, good point, Courtney.
Listen, we appreciate every last one of you for helping us maintain a nearly 5-star Google rating. And we're going to keep on shooting for the stars, especially when it comes to providing top-notch auto repair service.
Yep, and remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. Peter, Bruce, Samantha, Kimberly, Nick, Heather,
Oh,
Marissa,
Dad.
George, Jeremy, Diane, Brad, Paul.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Nationals coming to town. 3-game set. They don't have a manager. They don't have a general manager. They both got fired. So, new era in Natitude. 2019 is a long time ago, and they are moving on. Mike Rizzo, their general manager, has been dismissed of his duties, as was Davey Martinez. The weekend rotation goes like this, starting with tomorrow, 7:10 first pitch. We're on the air at 6. Quinn Priester will go up against Mitchell Parker. Saturday, Big Woo. Get your tickets now. Seriously, they're running out fast. It's also 90s jersey giveaway day. Brandon Woodruff makes his home return on Saturday against Shinosuke Ogasawara. It's just really fun to say. Shinosuke Ogasawara, one of their top prospects. And then finally, Freddie Peralta will start on Sunday against Jake Irvin. 7 o'clock Friday, 3 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday. Our coverage begins an hour before each of them. The Brewers will start tomorrow's game 2 games back of the Chicago Cubs. They won today to salvage the finale in Minnesota. They go on to New York City to take on the big bad Yankees, who they were getting no hit by Brian Wu. I do not believe they are anymore. That is indeed the case. They are threatening in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ooh, we may not be able to finish this show. It is 5-3 Mariners, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. Go-ahead winning run at the plate, I should say, against Andres Munoz, Ben Rice, in a 1-2 count, and a mound visit. All right, we won't have time to get to that, but that's Cubs-Yankees will be the final series of that first half. Quick question here from Mark. Who decides on rainouts? The home team does. I know. Cubs made it frustrating. But we'll see him in August, but the Brewers will see him here coming up at the end of the month. That is going to do it for our program here tonight. Hope you tune in tomorrow at 6 a.m. and after every game this weekend. Our producer has been Nate Rilling. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
When you need commercial or residential plumbing service, you need it now. Call Quality. We have over a 60-year track record of taking care of people. And with over 60 vehicles ready to respond to your needs, we'll be there in a hurry, so you won't have to worry. This is Anthony Zanevsky. For commercial or residential plumbing service, call Quality and get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. At Quality, we offer the most respected brand names in heating and air conditioning. Armstrong and Carrier. It doesn't get any better. And our technicians are top-notch. I know, because I handpicked every one of them. They're vetted and thoroughly trained. Hey, they're the cream of the crop. And that's why our quality workmanship guarantee is the strongest in the business.
Call